I know my friend Governor Douglas advised me and talked publicly shortly after the November round of election that it probably would be smart for me to not continue the fight, that there was a risk that I would become politically unpopular as part of this process. And I respect his advice. I thought about that. I said when I got into this, I wasn't getting into it to be a placeholder for the Republican Party. I wasn't getting into it to build some sort of movement for down the road. I got into this race 100%, if not 1,000%, if that's a real number, because I believe Vermont is headed in a bad direction. I believe 4 years of the current governor's leadership has been bad. I believe 2 more years under the same leadership is going to leave Vermont in a much worse position. That's why I got in. As I looked at the Constitution, looked at precedents, spent a lot of time thinking about that, making sure I was acting rationally. I agree that this might end up not being good for me in the future politically, but I think it's healthy for Vermont to keep this discussion going. I think we've seen the governor behave. I would argue, I'm not in his brain, I don't know, but I think we've seen different behavior out of the governor in the last 60 days because he's got to be concerned about getting elected on January 8th. Then perhaps we would have seen if he thought it was all wrapped up and it was just another campaign and another time to go back to his old talking points. We saw that on the election night. He's talking to his Democratic allies at his campaign headquarters. His message is, we're going in the right direction. We'll see where the votes land and we'll get going again tomorrow. Then all of a sudden he realizes it's a bigger audience and it's, well, let's be careful and let's rethink things. So I don't know what's going to happen with Peter Shumlin if he gets elected after January 8th, but I know what's going to happen with Scott Milne. We're going to have a moderate Republican governor working collaboratively with progressives and Democrats and Republicans and independents to get Vermont's economy back on track, to get our incompetent management of the people's money changed so that we're not sort of on some sort of trail towards becoming some version of Detroit. And that's possibly where we're going if we don't figure out how to competently manage the people's money.